go to the phone, praying that it's a wrong call, misdialed number. Pick up the phone, it's my pastor, Pastor Bill Worsler. Chris, sorry to wake you up. I just need you to know that Matt Stoll, who's a 17-year-old kid, or 16-year-old at that time, his dad just died. He just had a heart attack and died. Just talked to Matt a few minutes ago, and Matt's wondering if he'd be willing to come down to the hospital and take his dad to the ER. Absolutely, I'll be right there. My heart started beating fast. You're just screaming on the inside. It's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. Nice, normal night of sleep, all of a sudden interrupted by just about. There are a couple of notches I can imagine that would be worse, but just about the worst from the heart. So I go to the hospital. I walk into the ER. They let me into the van. And there's Matt and his sister Michelle and his older sister, like I really know very well, and his mom and her own dad. And Craig, Matt's dad, was there, and his mom. Pastor Bill was there already, crying, hugging. What in the world could anybody possibly say to make the suckiest day of your life any better? And so we didn't say a whole lot. We hugged and we stood around. I went and got people coffee and water, and we stood there. After a little bit, there came a point at which Pastor Bill, who's an incredibly compassionate and wonderful man of God, called the family around the bedside and held hands. And Pastor Bill said, let's pray. So Pastor Bill gathers us around the bed, and he starts to pray. Pastor Bill is a person who has heard the word for many, many years. He's put it into practice for many, many years. He is a man who has absorbed the word of God to the point at which he didn't have to open up his Bible like I am right now. And as he began to pray, part of his prayer were these very familiar words. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So we prayed. We hugged. We stood around very awkwardly and uncomfortably while Matt's dad laid there in bed. And I don't know how long I was there. I really don't remember. It's one of those things where time just kind of gets messed up. And somewhere, probably around 6 o'clock in the morning, I ended up home. My wife, woke up when the phone call came in, and told her what was happening. She was up right then. She's never up that. We talked a little bit. And around 6:30 in the morning, Matt was a student at the time at Holland Christian High School. And I have the principal's phone number in my cell phone. About 6:30, I called Troy, told him what had happened, and of course then the word starts getting out. It was the day before spring break. And Holland Christian only has a half day that day before spring break. So many of the Holland Christian students and families were already on the road heading down toward Florida or wherever they were going. Wasn't too much longer, by the time school started, I was over at Holland Christian. The word starts spreading, and obviously a group of students ends up over at Matt's house. Matt's house filled up very quickly. It wasn't a huge house. Everybody went down to the basement. Of course, Matt's mom and his sisters are just trying to keep it together. And so somebody said, hey, let's go somewhere else. And I right away said, let's go to church. And so over the next few hours, a ton of students from Holland Christian ended up over in our church. And Matt was a guy who played on a lot of sports teams. And in our town, Holland Christian High School, Holland High School, they're really close. And there's a lot of cross-pollination between the two schools. And so people do really get along pretty well. That's not necessarily the case in every community, but at ours it was a blessing, especially this day, because there were more of Matt's friends from Holland High School in town than there were Matt's friends from Holland Christian that day. And pretty soon the Holland High kids start walking out the door of the high school. They're just walking out the door. They're not checking out at the office. they get the text, they get whatever, the phone call, they start sliding out of the office, and they're over at our church. Pretty soon we've got 75, 80 people. That by this time was over, and there's more hugging, and there's more awkwardness. And us adults, us youth pastor people, us pastors, us staff at the church, it's a big church, there's a lot of staff. We had the opportunity to take a half a step back and to watch a group of students who look a ton like you guys do, just normal, ordinary high school kids. Come around Matt Stoll in his literal power of movement. Come alongside of him. Kids who would never pray out loud. You know what I mean? That can be a scary thing. Weeping and praying. That wasn't the first sudden death we had that year. 2 months before, Kara Rooks in our church, her dad dropped dead of a heart attack too. The most horrific day of her life. And 2 months later, she's got her arm around Matt's shoulder. And she's praying with Matt. This community of normal, ordinary high school students, Christian school students, public school students, they came and they gathered. It wasn't because of some amazingly orchestrated thing from adults. It was kids, young people, young followers of Christ, imperfect, just as every teenager is imperfect, trying imperfectly yet loving it to come alongside of somebody who was having the worst possible day of his life. Got a phone call a little bit later from the counselor at the high school at Holland High. The Christian school knew where the kids were. Holland High, I got a phone call from Sue, who was a member of our church. She just wanted me to know that whoever was over there from the public high school, whoever was skipping school without permission, okay, and was at our church, okay, that all the teachers and all the administration at the public high school down the street, they were totally cool with it because they knew why those kids were where they were and that they knew they were in a safe place doing the right thing. Community that day happened all across the board. Now here's the deal. I hope and I pray that everybody gathered in this room would never, ever, ever go through either as the center of something like that or even around the edge. I hope and I pray, my wish for you and for my own children is that life would be nice and easy and nice and smooth. But the bottom line is, in this world you will have trouble. And to walk through a storm of the magnitude of what Matt walked through that day and continue to walk through. It's not like after that day, all of a sudden, his life got miraculously better. He was supposed to leave 2 days later for a golf trip with his father. So you can imagine how hard that was. So that whole day goes on in this community of Christian teenagers that are all around him. At the end of the day, this whole story is so complicated, I couldn't possibly tell it. At the end of the day, in walks one adult. He was an adult who 3 years before had said to me, Chris, where do you need me to serve? I'm willing to do anything you need me to do. And I said, that group of boys from Holland Christian and Holland High, they were 8th graders at the time, okay? I need you to walk alongside them. I almost don't even care what you do, so long as they have a go-to person who will faithfully hang out with them, pray for them, and be Jesus to them. And at the end of the day, in walks John. Community. Love one another as I have loved you. And so those kids walked alongside Matt for the next few years. He went off to Calvin College. Again, like I shared yesterday about a Facebook post, trying to keep in touch a little bit better when people wander out. 2 weeks ago, Matt got accepted to the University of Michigan. He graduated from Calvin College with his dad out of the picture. Finances, you can imagine, got real tight. He somehow made it work, worked his butt off to get through 4 years of college, just got accepted into the social work program at the University of Michigan. And he's going to help hurting families with his life. My prayer for all of you is that you would never have to go through that kind of stuff. But I recognize that sometimes that happens. So what I want to do is I want to encourage you. If you're the kind of person who believes in God, believes all the stuff that you're being taught here, believe that God has brought you here for a reason. And that part of that reason, a huge part, is that you would love one another. Love now while it's relatively easy. Laugh together. Play sports together. Do your homework together. Worship together. Do all of those things when life is really, really, really good. But always keep your eyes open. Always keep your eyes open for somebody who's having a really crappy day. I hope it's not the kind of crappy day that I just described. There's a whole lot of other kinds of crappy days that are more like normal life. And come around those people when they're hurting. When a boyfriend unexpectedly dumps a girlfriend. When somebody's being mean, cruel, or nasty with their words. When somebody's making judgments on somebody. You come alongside that person and you share the love of Jesus Christ every single day in whatever way God has given you to do that. Somebody's struggling with their homework and you're good at math. Come alongside and offer help. That's what God wants us to do. And then when the big ones come, if the big one comes for you and your family, you've got a network of people who you've been loving. They will respond to you. They will come alongside of you. They can't make a crappy day good. A youth pastor friend of mine gave me the most pastoral advice ever a few years ago. He was counseling a girl whose grandma, who she had loved at the grapevine, had just died. The girl was having health problems of all kinds. He went to the hospital to visit her, and he looked at her. And he didn't say to her, God is with you. He didn't say to her, God must have a plan. He didn't say all the things that we normally do. He looked at her, and with all the love in his heart, he said, you know what? It really sucks to be here. That was probably the most compassionate, real thing he ever could say. There are going to be days when it sucks.